Welcome back to my kitchen. My name is Tamara, and today I am making easy oven-baked meatballs with a spinach Alfredo sauce. So stick around and let's get started with that. So the first thing I'm going to do is go ahead and prepare my Parmesan cheese. And I'm going to need 1.5 cups. Half a cup for the meatballs itself and 1 cup for the creamy Alfredo sauce. So we're going to go ahead and just shred this up in my little food processor here and get that done really fast. So that was really fast, much faster than a hand grater. I'm going to add 1 pound of ground beef to a bowl. To the ground beef, you're going to add 1 cup of ricotta cheese, 1/2 cup of Parmesan cheese. So this is freshly grated Parmesan cheese. 1/2 cup of breadcrumbs, 1 egg, 1 clove of garlic minced, 1 teaspoon of salt, 1/2 teaspoon of black pepper, 1/2 teaspoon of paprika. I'm going to chop 1/4 cup of parsley, and we're going to add that to the ground beef mixture. The stems on the parsley are very tender, so you don't have to worry about pulling the leaves off. And then we're going to mix this up well with the ground beef. We're just going to mix this up well with a wooden spoon with the egg, get it all distributed. You don't want to over mix. Your meatballs will be tough and you don't want that. So let's just mix until it's done. And if you hear a little voice in the background, it will be little chef. He's here observing today. Oh, there he is. I hear him. He's just watching today. He's not doing any cooking. There he is. So we're going to get this mixed and we're going to form our meatballs. I have my oven preheating at 400 degrees. We're going to put these on a parchment lined baking sheet, and we're going to get just spoonfuls full of the ground beef mixture. We're going to form them into about 1-inch size balls and place them on the parchment paper. We'll get all these formed into balls, and then we'll be right back to put them in the oven, and we'll make our sauce for these meatballs. So I'll be right back. Okay, I've got my hands all clean now. I had to get those washed. The meatballs are made. They're all on my parchment lined baking sheet. I'm going to drizzle with a little bit of olive oil and put them in the oven. To prepare the sauce, we're going to start off with a couple tablespoons of olive oil in a skillet on medium heat. And to the olive oil, we're going to add about 2 cups of chopped fresh spinach. Just going to take a bunch of these, kind of roll it together so that we can just chop it coarsely. Okay, and I'm going to get another bunch. That's about 1 cup. Now we're going to add this to the oil that's heating up in the skillet. We're just going to wilt that down, cook it for about 2 to 3 minutes. The spinach is cooked for 2 to 3 minutes and it's wilted down nicely. So now I'm going to add 1 cup of heavy cream. 1/2 cup of milk. Now we're going to add a cup of Parmesan cheese. We're going to have our heat on medium-low for this. We're going to stir that in until the cheese has melted. I'm going to add about a 1/2 teaspoon of salt to this. The cheese is pretty salty, so I'm not going to overdo it on the salt. So about a 1/2 teaspoon. About a 1/2 teaspoon of black pepper. We're going to stir that in, cooking this on low, slowly melting that cheese. Oh, this looks so good. Now the secret ingredient for this recipe is nutmeg. We're going to add about 1/4 to a 1/2 teaspoon of nutmeg. You won't believe how this smells. It smells amazing. So the cheese is almost melted, and I'm going to go ahead and get some rice on as a side dish to go along with this. The meatballs are almost ready in the oven, and we'll be right back to finish this recipe up. I took the meatballs out of the oven. I have about 5 more minutes, but I'm going to flip them over because they're nice and brown on the bottom. And I'm going to let them cook for about 5 more minutes. And then we'll be ready to serve. Okay, my meatballs are ready to come out of the oven. And we're going to place them into a dish and top them with the creamy Alfredo. They look delicious. And now I'm going to get the sauce and we're going to top these off. It's going to be delicious. We're just going to serve this up with some rice that I cooked with chicken broth and drizzle some of this creamy Alfredo over the top. And we'll be ready. So guys, thank you for dropping in.